So it's been a little while since I made a video, and in the meantime the world appears to have gone to Hi, this is Everyday Prepper. Welcome to the channel. Okay, let me just clarify that. Maybe not the whole world, but we've certainly seen some riots and protests going on around the UK. There's also quite a bit going on over in Bangladesh. They've got lockdowns in Bangladesh. The Bangladeshi Prime Minister has fled the country apparently. 100 to 200 people have been killed in these riots over there as well. I'm not entirely sure what it's about, but they've had nationwide curfews imposed. You've also got the riots and protests similar to what we've had in the UK over in Ireland, where unprecedented moves of British and Irish citizens grouping together against immigration over there as well, and that's causing a lot of damage and a lot of concern among the police. We've even got three calls I've seen, even from Mr. Fromage today, talking about military intervention needed to curb all the riots in the UK. Anyway, I thought I'd just give you a slightly different spin on this because I've been looking at the markets, the stock markets this morning, and these are global stock markets as well. I'm going to do an update this afternoon because the US markets open at 2 o'clock our time because they're 5 hours behind us. So that would be 9 o'clock their time. But there's some very interesting things going on. So I'm just going to try and demonstrate that on here. So I'm just going to switch over now to a screen recording and just show you and demonstrate what I'm talking about. Right, so hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm trying to do mic recording whilst I'm showing you my screen. This is on IG Markets, which is a platform that I use for trading every now and again. So the US 500 is basically the top 500 tech stocks around the world. And this is their chart this morning. So I have noticed it's been going down. I'll just show you here. So since about 18th of July, it's been kind of dropping, but there's been a massive drop literally the last couple of days. Over the weekend, what IG does is it kind of works out what it thinks the underlying markets will do, because obviously the market's closed weekends. It doesn't open on only opens weekdays. So we've seen a massive drop. That's on the US 500, so that's tech stocks. If we look at the actual US tech top 100, again, massive drop here. I'm not very happy about this because I've got investments across the board there and they're dropping in the thousands. We've also got the FTSE, UK top 100 shares. Look at that drop. That is absolutely insane drop today. And that's we're now at 20 past 11 in the morning. So markets opened at kind of I think it's 8 o'clock. Massive drop. And what is interesting, which is what I wanted to show you also, so the GB pound against the dollar is kind of vacillating up and down here. It's going sideways, up and down side. It's called a sideways move when it's kind of moving along to the right, but not massive jumps, if you know what I mean. So it doesn't really know what it's doing. So the dollar maybe could be collapsing, I don't know. There's reports of it on the news. They're talking about fears of a US recession, and that's what's spooked the markets. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Oh, I should show you Wall Street. Be interesting to see what happens at 2 o'clock when their markets actually open. But Wall Street, which is kind of America's main market, look at these drops over 3 days. Each one of these bars here, by the way, is a day. So that's what's kind of happening. If we change it to say 1 hour, each one of these bars is now an hour, and it's just going down and down and down and down and down since this morning, or no, actually since Friday. So funny how all these major events happen over a weekend. It's almost like it's deliberate. So it doesn't affect the markets in one go. So that's Wall Street. But what I did find very interesting was, despite all of that, although the markets aren't currently open, the two top weapons manufacturers, Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman, who are the biggest weapons and aerospace manufacturers, that's what's happened over the last few days with Lockheed Martin. speaks for itself, really. I mean, that's nearly a 10,000 point jump, certainly an 8,000 point jump. Unprecedented, absolutely huge. Let's open that up a little bit. So each one of those bars is a week. You can see a bit of a trend forming there. That's each one of those bars is now a month. Absolutely massive jumps. Now that would normally indicate we're gearing up for war. So let's have a look at the other one, which is Northrop Grumman. And again, massive jump. There's a gap at around 45,000 here. So you see that gap? Just try and show you that gap around here where it just jumps. There's a gap, and it's jumped so high that it couldn't even be recorded, and that's like a, I don't know, 1,000 point jump. Absolutely huge. So again, that's Northrop Grumman. There are a couple of other companies who are not as major. There's RTX Corporation. Their shares again have jumped, massive jumps there. So RTX is another weapons manufacturer. And then there was another one, just for balance here, General Dynamics Core is another one. Their shares aren't really jumping, they're just kind of going sideways, up and down. There's a lot of activity there, but I don't know whether that's probably normal. Yeah, it looks pretty normal for them. Although, yeah, maybe over the last couple of months there's been a bit more activity with the trading. But certainly the top three, certainly in fact the top two are jumping massively. Everything else is diving. You know, we have a look at Google, massive dive, big gap there as well, with a big jump where it couldn't even be recorded. Netflix, these are all the tech stocks going down. What I've also found interesting was where are we? The banks. Barclays dropped like a stone. Then there's Lloyds. I don't follow all the banks on here, but Lloyds as well, massive drop, although just picked up a little bit this morning. So that's quite interesting. And I wonder what's happened there is the talk is, oh, I'll show you Bitcoin. You'd expect Bitcoin to be a safe bet if all the markets are dropping, but no, everyone's selling Bitcoin as well. And also gold, you'd expect that to be rising, and it's not sure. It's going a bit of a sideways move there, very, very volatile, up and down, all over the place. Usually gold will go up when all the rest of the markets are going down, but it's not always a given. But what I was confused, because with the banks, you know, you've got interest rate being very, very high. Where the UK have just dropped the interest rate for the first time, of course, bank shares are going to go down because the banks made a massive amount of money out of interest rates going up because of people's mortgages and borrowing costs going up. Makes the banks an absolute fortune, which is why the banks have been trading very, very high and enjoying a very good high share price, as you can see on this Lloyds one, for instance, over the last several months. If I just expand that out over the months, you can see that they've had a really, really big increase where the share price, where the interest rates have been high, and they've enjoyed quite a high profits. But because they're talking about a potential recession in the US, that could have a knock-on effect and accelerate the dropping of interest rates globally, which is why I imagine that the banking shares are going down, because if interest rates aggressively go down in the UK, banking share prices will go down as well. That's my analysis of that. I'm not an expert, but I have done a bit of research, and that seems to be what's happening. So I'm just going to come back to the camera now. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. That was my analysis. I don't necessarily know what I'm talking about, but I do follow the markets and I follow a lot of news around it, and there's a lot seems to be going on. My speculation on this, and this is only my opinion, is that all of these riots and everything else, with what Starmer has come out and said, which is absolute just pouring petrol on flames. He has not done anything to kind of curb the violence at all. In fact, he's deliberately seems to be ignoring the other side of it. He seems to be ignoring a lot of what people are actually protesting about. He's just calling everybody far-right thugs. You know, I've watched videos of these protests, and there's people out there, middle-aged women out there with their handbags just walking along, you know, and so he's labelling all those people as far-right thugs. No, there are a few what look like football hooligans who are kind of instigating all the violence, but there's people protesting for a lot of reasons, and it's been building up over the years. Couple that with the cost of living crisis and everything else, you know, people are fed up. We knew something was coming. This could be it. But my bigger concern is around the markets dropping, but the weapons manufacturers' shares going right up. So, you know, if they were to introduce, I doubt they'll introduce martial law. That's not been introduced in the UK for hundreds of years. Last time it was introduced was actually in Ireland, and that was the turn of the century. But if they did put the military on the streets to back up the police, and they were there's been calls for lockdowns again, although the guy that said it has denied it now, Lord whatever his name is. So if they were to introduce some kind of lockdown and military on the streets, wouldn't that be amazing timing, that if we had suddenly had a World War III kick-off and they wanted to instigate all of those things, it would be already in place, and we'd already be used to it. So my suggestion, as from a prepping point of view, is if you haven't already stocked up on food and as much water as you can, or certainly get some kind of water filtration system, even if it's a Life Straw or a Sawyer microfilter, or a British Berkfield or a Berkey water filter, any of those kind of things. Just get all of that, get your food stocked, to just go down and just stock up on food. Now, I'm not saying panic buy, but you want to be doing more than at least one tin every shop. Depends when you shop. One tin a week isn't going to cut it now. If you haven't got anything, you need to be getting sort of a couple of months worth of food stocked up as quick as you can. Certainly a couple of weeks. Aim for a couple of weeks, then aim for a couple of months. Yeah, if there was any time to do it, it would definitely be now. And that seems to be the sentiment online across the board now. From food farmers, food manufacturers, to people who follow military action and experts in war strategy and that kind of thing. Everyone's saying get yourself some food stashed up, because brace yourselves for what's happening. So anyway, I thought I'd just upload this really quickly. I'm going to do another update this afternoon when we see what the actual markets do when they open in the US at 2 o'clock our time. It is Monday, isn't it? Yeah, Monday. So yeah, and then we'll do an update then. I'll do a quick analysis just to see whether what I've said today is right. With that, thanks very much for watching. Nice to be back. Yeah, I have been away for a little while, so that's hence not making a video for some time. So apologies for that. Thanks very much for watching. In the meantime, stay prepared.